Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another session of backtesting where I'm going to be backtesting another half month's worth of data. This is episode number 24, I believe, of our backtesting streams where we are going from 2022 all the way up until 2026 in one single stretch. If you guys are interested in checking out the rest of these videos, this entire process is going to be recorded and posted on my YouTube. With that being said, if you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just drop straight into it. So within the last sessions that I have been back testing, I've been running a more different approach, not a different approach, but just like recognizing the 15-minute pullback play a little bit better. I am taking out the whole 15-minute C2 trading and more so trading the 15-minute C3. And these are the requirements that I'm requiring from it in order to trade those 15-minute C3s is letting the C2 close and trading the C3, letting the draw and liquidity still being available and the lower time V-shaped reversals. And some of the filters that are in place for me as well now is not being too high in the range, not being too low in the range, not chasing price, and just if expansion has occurred previous day, then anticipating for the next day to consolidate, and overnight expansions also going and throwing us into that different phase in price. 15-minute C2 plays is if I'm going to play the C2, it has to be an SMT fill C2 to trade up higher. And again, it has to be early in the candle, shit like that. And then again, confirm the manipulation with gap, confirm the gap with the 15-minute swing, confirm the swing with a lower time frame V shape, and targets is going to still be available, and higher time frame is going to be all exactly the same. Universal models, intraday profile, clear phases in price, and entry signature. Away from that now, let us go and drop straight into it. So we're going to go into it. So taking a look here on the daily time frame, I am taking notice that we are within a daily C2. This is a Monday open low, Tuesday reversal, looking for Wednesday to go and distribute back up to these highs. We are in bullish order flow here. Very aggressive daily C2 outside of a very relevant level. Looking for this high to be considered the draw on liquidity, as there is further draw on liquidity that is above us, as well as we are trading within this weekly pushing market. We are respecting within the upper half of this weekly candle with off of this daily OB, and we are trading now back up to these highs that's located there for that profiling. I would say that the profile in general is kind of chopped in terms of like the London and Asia and everything like that. It's kind of weird. We do have a nice profile here on YM, where YM we could actually trade up higher if we wanted to, as we are bouncing off of this 4-hour gap here. And honestly, it looks like we could be trading lower because there's no low of day set with anything of true significancy. However, we do have a tap into a relevant accumulation, no manipulation of these lows. We're about to set a manipulation here with YM though, so there is SMT fill as there is something like this, and now it would be studying YM to see what YM does in order for us to press up higher. Ideally, we just want to see, because we can't trade away from all of this low resistance here, so ideally I want to see YM switch strengths and close as this 15-minute C2. We can see that there is some decoupling that is going on right now as NQ is making its way down. We are sweeping out this low here. We have a 15-minute C2 that is forming up now. 30-minute, or actually just a 15-minute C2. 3-minute V-shape reversal here. With that 3-minute V-shape reversal, I'm going to wait for a continuation signature now. Wait for the continuation OB. So no continuation OB. Now we're taking notice that YM actually is making a very deep retracement, giving us a new 15-minute C2. Kind of a weird 15-minute C2 though. V-shaped signature not really present. This is more so of an accumulation now, where yeah, this is a fucking accumulation. So we can take notice that the SMT that is considered at this low is going to be considered invalid because the asset setting the SMT is not reversing price. So we can actually trade NQ down to meet those lows and break the SMT here. 15-minute C2, V-shape reversal, CISD, push, trading that 15-minute C3 down to the downside to break the SMT that's located down below. Looking for the hard times. I would grip it through the flow. We could go break even at those lows like that. Doesn't look entirely that bad. And then you just stops the break even from there, right? From there, stops the break even, and you're trading that lagging asset to those lows, and then you stopped out of break even. Missed all the lows. Does it ever get there? And then it just becomes consolidation. So away from that, just a consolidated move. Very high risk situation though, I will say, but I looked at it as this is a swept high. This is a deep pullback. This is your V shape. Strong closure through, opening up to these gaps. We should be fucking distributing at least minimal to all of this, and then you can go break even. And then you have all of this range high to range low, just very accumulative. That was all this fucking trade was, realistically speaking. It was just your 15-minute C2 into the 15-minute C3, like that, right? Looking like FOMC though. Yeah, it was FOMC and Trump. Yeah, FOMC. So I wouldn't even have taken any trade here in ever because it's FOMC. I don't trade FOMC, so no trades there. Good thing I came out with a break even. If not, I would have been fucking crashing out. Obviously, FOMC does give us, previous day does give us that C3, extremely expansive day though. So with us being extremely expansive, I would honestly look to see if YM can catch up with where NQ is. NQ is already ripping. I really don't have any targets higher. Profile is kind of chopped. Asia low a day, and it just kept on marching. There is no like true low a day, but we do have a profile here on YM, as YM does have that open low, getting supported from that wick there, and we could take notice that this is within an internal range liquidity. So we do have IRL, ERL looking at 6 a.m. to be internal range to go and press us upwards. I do want to take notice that we are tapping us into a very relative level, as this high is separated from this wicks high. That is your FOMC high, so that's going to be considered a data high where I would like to see price go up to. Here we have an accumulation, a manipulation, and a distribution. We're tapping us into a relative level, and if I wanted to trade up higher, I would like to see these gaps that's in close proximity to hold price up to the upside. So this gap here is getting ran through, looking like we are going to go down to this low. So we do run all the way down to those lows, and realistically speaking, now I believe that if we fail to manipulate this low, then that means we are going to go lower. Here I can take notice of this push. Are we manipulating? 15-minute C2, 3-minute OB, looking to see if we can get a continuation OB off of this. I wouldn't really, we have some decoupling actually. NQ is reversing price right now, as it does want to go and trade back down lower into the range. We do have an open high profile. NQ does have that 15-minute C2, V-shaped 3-minute CISD, looking for a 3-minute OB. Because if YM is tapping us into this low that's located down here and is failing to reverse, then that means that NQ can go and catch up to with where YM is, as YM is being that bearish asset. Not entering here. Why? Because this is actually a very wicked out closure. I don't want to see that. I want to see full bodies. Okay, so no full bodies here. Very wicked out closure. Didn't even close, honestly. Well, this might just end up seek and destroy. Not even gonna front to you there. 15-minute C2 to the upside. I was nothing super clear here. I think I would just walk because I don't know what is going on here. Right? I would just walk. It just became NQ is just way too high up in this range, and YM is just kind of fucking around right here. So there really isn't any trades for me, as I don't want to trade up at the highest points of this every single price leg after massive expansion without no different phase in price happening. We also can take notice that we do have these equal lows here. That would have been a lot better if we just formed a clear 15-minute C2 and 3-minute V shape, which it doesn't. It just has a 3-minute accumulation and then the push upwards. So realistically speaking, there's not really any trades there. So I would just be skipping out on it completely. So with this being said, again, I'm looking at more of an external internal type play here, as we do have this being Friday, Monday, Tuesday. When Tuesday is setting that low of week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday expansion, looking like Thursday is the high of week, wanting to trade back down to the internal range. Yes, we do sweep out the previous day's low. However, it's just like Can I say that that's going to be considered the low? Honestly, on YM, it doesn't look that bad because we have all of this low resistance that is located above. So some longs that on YM doesn't look entirely that bad. Some longs on NQ looks fucking entirely terrible. Like the whole profile in general is kind of cooked. Not gonna lie, we do appreciate make a move upwards, and we expand lower right now. With this being said, all of these gaps within this price leg, I would like to see price hold and actually give me a 15-minute model down to the downside. So here we can take notice that YM is making a run up higher. I just don't have any 15-minute C2s to trade away from, not even a 30-minute C2 to trade away from either. I mean, I guess we do, as there is SMTs like this. So let's see if we can get on side with this now. We are just pressing. Realistically speaking, there is no like stop loss placement for me, right? After that first 3 minutes, it's all the way up here. No stop loss placement. So let's see if I can get some form of stop loss placement. NQ is pretty high right now. Looking to see if I can get like a 15-minute pullback and trade away from a C2. Here's a 15-minute C2 here. And this would be your C2 closure. NQ is about to tap us into its daily opening price. 15-minute C2. Okay, honestly, I'm going to take it on YM, as YM does have the V shape and we are trading a C2 into C3, and this should be able to expand us up higher, at least minimal to these highs here, and then we can go and shoot past it for the next highs over, and then ultimately going up for that draw on liquidity, which is those data highs. So I'm going to take this on YM, as we are trading that C2 into C3, range low to range high, intraday, lower time frame V-shape reversal. Where is it? Lower time frame V-shape reversal, draw on liquidity still available. C2 trading the C3, fucking gaps, holding, universal models, all that bullshit, right? So let's go and take it. Stops can go to break even as soon as you reach these draws here. And then you just let it ride. Range high has been impacted. Do we break through it? No, so we fall right back down to break even. So yeah, doesn't break through it, and then you just get stopped out of break even. You could have traded it to 1R, as that would have been a pretty decent move. But until then, it's just like whatever. You're just going to accumulate right here, right? I wanted to see if we could break through this to get up to that next draw on liquidity, which I knew my chances were low, but still worthy of a hold, right? Going to the next day. So break even there. Realistically, there's just not anything good right now, which is fine, right? So taking a look here. We are compressing back down to the downside. Previous day, there is SMT, as YM does sweep out this high, NQ does not. We are trading down lower into internal range liquidity now. It's really showing me that YM is not really on the same page as NQ and ES now. So I'm looking at trading internal to external here, with the daily profile obviously showing me that London, there's no more reason for NQ to go down lower, right? So with that being said, I'm looking to trade internal to external. The daily profile is a nice open low profile. We can take notice that there is reasons for YM, but YM is within this consolidation range here, and is very difficult for me to read if we're going to go up higher or if we are going down lower. It looks like it wants to go lower, but the fashion that we're getting there is not clean at all, versus NQ does have a clear internal external type model, where we do have this high day not set with anything of true significancy. We have a 6 o'clock low a day, having that 1 hour C2 forming that low here, not really expanding away from it. We do make a pull back, but we do have an 8 a.m. C2 anticipating for 9 a.m. to be a C3. We are not expanding away from it, so we may be like, I want to be aware if we do not expand during 9:30. So we do expand during 9:30. Here's your low that we can take notice of. We are tapping us into a very relevant level. Now, in order for me to get on side with this, I would need to see a failure to manipulate signature, which this would be your failure to manipulate, and you're not trading a 50, you're trading a 15-minute C3 here, and you're just trading this continuation up to those draws as that 15-minute open low high close from here, or actually just fucking, Yeah, this is a V shape. So continuation off of this gap, failure to manipulate signatures, strong closure through, CISD, low resistance liquidity, 2R placement, universal model, range low, range high, daily profile, open low, high close, respecting off of a 1 hour C2, looking to trade 9 a.m. C3. This should just rip us straight up higher. Okay, so we get stopped out there, looking to see if I can get on side with a new 15-minute swing. So looking like my draw on liquidity is completely wrong. We do reach down now to sweep out these lows once more. With the sweeping of these lows once more, honestly, with that fucking failing to go and set that high, failing to go and take out all of this low resistance liquidity is showing me that we are failing to reverse off of these lows. Let's see if we get a new 15-minute swing. There's your new 15-minute swing. This is the lowest point of the day. V-shape reversal. Looking for a continuation OB now. This would be your continuation OB. This is not a 15-minute swing formation though. So honestly, this would be like your... Why does this look fucking right though? 30-minute C2, looking for a 30-minute C3. I'll take this again. Yeah, this doesn't look half bad either. Because you're trading a 30-minute C3, 2, and trading that 30-minute C3 up to the upside. Stops goes to break even as soon as you cross this high here. Oh, this fucking guy, bro. What the fuck, dude? Well, it missed it, and yeah, that's just what it is, bro. Fucking missed my 2R. So we're out of that, and yeah, we got stopped out at break even on that one. So unfortunate. I would say that, yeah, fuck, dude. Got fucked up. Yeah, I thought we were going up higher here off of this gap and then the support through it, trading us higher within this 30-minute seat, whatever. Fuck you, dude, honestly. Fuck, man. So just straight up consolidation, really. Realistically speaking, I mean, yes, that's the draw on liquidity, but honestly, you can get a few points above it, right? So now with us being in this consolidation, I really just wouldn't touch it because now there's nothing here telling me that we can go anywhere in particular, right? So there's nothing telling me like, oh, okay, open, high, low, close. There's nothing really telling me like, oh, okay, London reversal, go lower type shit. There's a bunch of equal highs that's located at my highs and a bunch of equal lows that's located at my lows. I am unconfident in which way the market is going to go, and there is no bias drawn here, and the whole day is just going to remain chopped because of the fact that there is no bias drawn. See how you could have thought that we wanted to go lower, but now it goes higher? Not ideal conditions where now you just get chopped up trying to get on side with anything else, right? So you can take notice that we do go and do whatever. I mean, the accumulation is caused by what? Powell speaking at 1300. So there's really nothing there for us in terms of getting on side with anything there because there's no bias. There's literally just a consolidation. You just walk away from the whole day. That's not a day to trade. Honestly, you could just see it from before. For the most part, you can usually see when to not trade on before even anything happens. So we do have this very massive expansion candle. With this expansion candle here on YM, it does tap us into a relevant level. However, we are failing to manipulate it. We do have a daily C2 looking to trade daily C3. This is also a Tuesday low of week with an SMT away from it. The asset setting the SMT, which is YM, is reversing price as well. So with the asset, or even ES has reverse price as well, trading from internal to external and wanting to see these highs be considered the draw on liquidity. Now we are trading internal, external, SMT at the low of the week, Monday accumulate, Tuesday manipulate and expand away and reverse price. Draw on liquidity is all of these low resistance highs that is located here. And now I'm looking for the day to do what? Open, low, high, close. We do have some relevant highs or some equal highs that's located above. This is nothing but a retracement right now for that open, open, low, high, close. Looking to wait for a relevant level to get impacted. Once this level gets impacted, we want to see 930 reverse price up to the upside. So here would be your 930 reversal. Once you get this 930 reversal here, I would wait for that 15-minute to close. So that way we have that 15-minute C2. Now I'm looking on the 3-minute time frame and noticing that we do have that 3-minute CISD V-shaped reversal away from this. Looking to see now if I can get on side with a trade up to the highs that's located there, and I would need to see a continuation OB to take place in a trade here. So no continuation OB, price does run down lower here. We can take notice that YM is the more stronger asset now, as NQ is still falling through, setting new SMTs at these lows and everything like that. So I'm going to be trading YM. I would like to see, actually, it's a pretty full body. We can trade this as a 10 a.m. positional to these highs that's located above us. As 10 a.m., when it closes, it should just be able to rip higher, right? Whoa, what? What the fuck was that? That is insane. Holy fuck you, bro. What the fuck was that? What? Wow. So extreme bearishness away from equal highs and shit. That's wild. So let's go and see if we can frame a short, I guess. Holy shit. That was insane. Looking to see if I can get a 15-minute C2 here. Trade a lagging asset logic. There's your 15-minute C2. See if you can get a strong closure through. Very wicked out closure. Not interested in that. Strong closures through now. And we can trade YM down lower to meet up with where NQ is. As looking like I guess we're bearish here. That's insane. I didn't think that we were bearish, honestly. Right, so looking like we're bearish here. I honestly was not bearish at all. That's so confusing. Right, so here's your breaking of this low. Honestly, you really wouldn't want to see price come back anymore, and you just take off your 2R just like that. Right, so there's your 2R on the day, and just fucking take it, dude. You got juked the fuck out. You would assume that this is your reversal, right? V-shaped reversal, accumulation, or a retrace back down into internal range, right? Which is a 4-hour gap that we would like to see hold price up to. Or it's not even a gap, but nonetheless, it's still a V-shape and an OB and shit. But yeah, and you would assume that we'd go up to all of this low resistance and equal highs that is located above, and this is your low of week. No idea why I would want to go and press us downward. So NQ does fail to manipulate. Honestly, I was anticipating for NQ, because NQ does set this new low here, and then we entered off of this OB, which is a very clear fucking OB, honestly. Right, very clear OB, trading a very clear 15-minute C2 into 15-minute C3, and anticipating for that 30-minute C2 and then this 30-minute C3 to keep on pressing us up higher. Was there any reason for YM to not, for us to not do that? We're not basing it off of lagging asset, leading asset logic, when the fucking the entire profile and everything is telling us to go higher. Right, daily opens low into these there's no reason for us to go lower here. And then we do have a V-shaped reversal, 930 reverses price, and then you get the 3-minute CISD and the 3-minute OB that is forming up here. And here is the 6 a.m. candle fucking long wick or something. There's a 6 a.m. C2 anticipating 10 a.m. to be a C3. It's also a PSP outside of a point of interest. We also can take notice that NQ is a lot weaker than YM is. We are also taking notice that we are fucking setting a fucking 5-stage SMT over here. You know what I mean? Sweep, push. I guess once you take notice that NQ is not reversing price, that's when you're like, okay, whatever, fucking, I guess we're bearish, right? And you just take that 2R. But there was no reason for us for that to fail. Why would it fail? Why would it not want to go up to those highs? I'm trying to figure that out, right? That's fucking impossible, bro. Literally. There was no reason for market to do a full reversal like that. Unsure of why that failed. Now it just becomes an accumulation. I'm kind of scared to go and trade this anymore. It just becomes this whole thing is just a massive accumulation now, right? So this entire thing is just what noise to me, not really doing anything in particular. We can take notice of overnight expansion, really. With this overnight expansion that is presenting itself, we are about to tap into a very relevant level here on YM. We could trade internal or external internal. We do have nice clear order flow though, with a 1 hour C3 outside of a gap, confirming that gap now. And I would like to trade up higher. We do have this 15-minute C2 forming off of this gap, off of that internal range, into boom. The draws on liquidity is extremely obvious here. With those extremely off, I hate this wick down to the downside on that first 3-minute closure, so I'm not going to enter there. And now I'll just wait for a new 15-minute swing formation to trade me back upwards. Here would be a new 15-minute swing formation. Now with this new 15-minute swing formation, I have a 15-minute C2. I'm looking to trade a 15-minute C3 back up to the upside. I am taking notice that YM or NQ is tapping us into a very relevant level. We do want to take notice that the SMT that is put in at this high is considered valid right now, as the asset that's setting that SMT is actually reversing price quite extensively down to the downside. So we may be bearish here. There is no V-shaped reversal. That actually sweeps out that 15-minute gap once more. And we can take notice that the 15-minute here is pressing us up to the upside. We do tap into that external range now. And now I would want to pay attention to what YM does, as YM is extremely bearish off of that high and giving us a 3-minute CISD down to the downside, and we are trading very bearish. With us trading very bearish, we can honestly anticipate for the weaker asset YM or NQ that has a daily open high here, and we are about to form a 15-minute swing formation. Outside of this, we can trade down lower now here on NQ, because YM has reverse price. Or is YM accumulating price? Looking to see if this 15-minute gap will hold, or this 15-minute here. If this trades as a 15-minute C2, I can trade C3. So waiting for the C2 closure. There's your C2 closure. We are below old lows, so now I would like to see a continuation signature through these lows in order for me to get on side with this. So here would be your continuation signature through the lows. This is also setting a new 15-minute model outside of that 15-minute gap. And then you could trade this C3 down to the downside to daily's opening price and those lows that is telling you that YM is reversing off of. And yeah, daily open, high, low, close, trading this downwards. As soon as I impact daily opening price, I'm going break even. Actually, I'll go break even now, just because I really wouldn't want to see this high anyway because of the OB creation. So I'm going to go break even here. And then there's your 2R out of it, right? So, cool. What am I reading here on this, within this, is this is very structured. I kind of like waiting for the C2 closure. Very structured. I know when to fucking stay out of trades and shit, you know? But with that being said, we can take notice of the C2. Not really a C2, but you cannot deny that we are trading a V shape away from it, and the candle closure is very strong through it. So you can trade this very strong closure. Honestly, my stops could have went here, and I could have just went for 2R. And yeah, that's just basically trading the daily profile of this open, high, low, close. Asset setting a manipulation from this range high here, has reverse price with a V-shaped reversal off of it. Boom. And in the instant displacement away from it. Yes, it's still the stronger asset. That's why you're not getting the nicest reaction. off of it, but we can take notice that the assets here, every time a high was set, it V-shaped, and then now after hitting this level, what is it doing? More so accumulation, manipulates this high, and then pushes us through it. With that push through it, this is a 15-minute C2. I'm trying to get onside with a continuation signature now. Why as well? Because this low is a very relevant low in terms of the next one's over. So in case I was wrong, I'm literally just going to wait for a continuation signature. So the accumulation, manipulation, distribution, new continuation signature at a pretty decent spot as well, above daily's opening price. So I am trading down to daily's opening price. Why trading to daily's opening price and not overreaching is because the wick is quite large here, as it did invalidate the previous day's midpoint, and we are just kind of up there in this range, as the draw on liquidity still is going to be here. At first you wouldn't know if the draw on liquidity is going to be lower or higher because there's low resistance at the highs and lows. However, once this high gets impacted on YM, this leaves an SMT that's located here, and that's in between this gap, and it is telling us that we can have that open high low close profile, which is supporting that bearish move down to the downside. And ultimately, all I waited for entry signature is just waiting for that 15-minute C2. We didn't really get that. We did get a C3 though, so that fucking counts enough for me. And yeah, we just jumped in off of there, anticipating for this gap to hold and the OB to hold, as well as we have expanded, retraced, expanded, retraced, and so on and so forth. And yeah, that's basically that trade there. All right. Cool. Moving on to the next. So taking a look here. On the daily time frame, what am I taking notice of? Price is making its way down pretty aggressively down to the downside. I do want to take notice that YM is tapping into a very relevant level, as this is an accumulation lows. We may be trading external, internal. Day of the week is a Friday. Very valid to trade into external, internal. This is actually going to be an internal, external type move here on YM if we do want to decide to do that. Price does have a nice open low profile. Yes, it's a London reversal, but we can see that this gap here and those highs is available for purchase. But for us to go and race up to here, we can take notice that 6 a.m. is reversing off of range lows. I'm trying to trade back up to the current high a day, and this becomes my draw on liquidity there. So with this being said, this is more so of an open low into a valid area, going from external to internal for me, forming the low a day with a 1 hour C3, and us going and expanding with a clear V-shaped reversal away from this low. So now I am taking notice that YM has the clearest framework to get up to this high. Once that high is impacted, however, there's pretty much nothing for me. I would like to trade away from a 15-minute swing here outside of this gap. We look like we may be going straight up to it, so we're going to wait now for this 15-minute C2 to close. Actually, the C2 has just closed here, so now with this 15-minute C2 closure there, it's kind of aggressive to the downside. Let's see if I can get on side with anything here. Okay, we are looking like it wants to run down lower again, push me down with a new 15-minute C2. Looks like 10 o'clock might just go and straight to the draw on liquidity, honestly. So 10 o'clock does go straight to the draw on liquidity here. Now my job is to study what does 10 o'clock do, or what does NQ do if we are going to consolidate here, or are we going to go and push through it? If we end up pushing through it, then that means that NQ can go and catch up with this 15-minute C2 closure, looking for NQ to break that same SMT with its V-shaped reversal here, as we are tapping into a very relevant high. I don't think I would jump in initially, because I would like to see a failure to manipulate standard, where now this can be considered my entry, as this is a new 15-minute candle, and we should be able to go and break those SMT highs as a continuation signature. So let's see if we get it. Honestly, looking like we're going to stop out. Well, stopped out there. And yeah, that's just your 15-minute C2, and I traded the 15-minute C3 open, low, high, close into this 3-minute gap, as I did want to see the failure to manipulate signatures off of this high for us to continue up to break the same SMT that YM has put in, because YM starts to accumulate, waiting for NQ to catch up, trading that 15-minute C3 into expansion back up to those highs as well. So not entirely bad. I don't think it was a bad trade. That's exactly how I play it, right? So it just is a failed trade. That's all it really is. The phases and price definitely did support expansion, boom, accumulation into this gap, and then the clear press upwards with that 3-minute closure. Yeah, fuck, that's good. It's also a 10 a.m. Yeah, setting the low of the 10 a.m. candle with a 15-minute swing. Very strong closure above. And going for the SMT break here, as the asset setting that manipulation here is not really reversing price. So yeah, I don't see why not, right? For the lagging asset to go and break the SMT there, which is full. I'm cool with that one, right? That's not that bad. I'll take that any day of the week. Looking here, external, internal, daily C2, looking like we want to go from range low to range high here. YM or NQ is very bearish here. Its higher time frame is extremely bearish. We can take notice. Asia low day, London reversal presses us upwards outside of an internal gap. Here, boom, internal. We are tapping us into its current high a day, which is a relevant level. So the study is going to be, what is it going to do when it does reach this level? Are we going to reverse off of it? Are we going to what is that called? Are we going to reverse off of it? Are we going to accumulate? Are we going to fail to manipulate for that continuation higher? I'm looking for continuations higher. That's just my perspective of things. As you can tell, NQ is making its way lower. We are having a decoupled move here. I'm looking to see if I can trade a lagging asset. As that strength switch into it, I'll wait for the 15-minute C2 formation. As you can tell, YM is not reversing off of these highs. I can go and trade the lagging asset to break those same SMTs that is located there. Daily open low, 15-minute swing off of these 30-minute gaps. With that 15-minute swing, V-shape reversal off of it. NQ is showing phases and price that it wants to catch up with where YM is, and we can trade this up higher to break those SMTs that is located to the left of us. All right, so let's trade this. Boom, stops goes to break even. Hold this to 2R. Is it a break even trade? YM still going. And then there's your 2R out of it, right? Boom, break even. Daily open low. Not really SMT'd at the low, but the fact that we are finding support within these gaps, I'm not trying to trade down to these lows. It's obviously showing that we're not going to these lows, so that's kind of why you can trade away from it. YM breaking this SMT and really failing to reverse off of it and actually going through it again is showing that failure to manipulate here. Yeah, you could trade YM off of the driver. I don't trade the driver anymore prior to the driver's opening anymore. That's not what I do. I always wait for the first 3 minutes. My price does rip up higher. So what do? I wait for this 15-minute swing off of what gaps that's showing me that this could be your possible low day. When you do trade off of these gaps within the fractal, that 15-minute C2 does close. 3-minute V-shaped signature. Once you have this V-shaped reversal signature, you have that what? Right? 15-minute pullback. Pulls back into those gaps. Let the C2 close. We let the C2 close. We traded the 15-minute C3. We traded the 15-minute C3. Draw on liquidity was still available. We was trading the lagging asset. Lower time frame V-shaped signature was still in play. We confirmed the manipulation with the gaps. We confirmed the gap with the 15-minute swing. We confirmed the swing with the lower time frame V-shape, and the targets was still available for us to trade to. And that's all there is to it, right? So cool. Moving on to the next. So taking a look here, this is going to be considered Tuesday. With this being Tuesday, looking at this model, daily C3, I want to press up to all of these. with that daily C3. However, the daily candle right now is intraday profile is kind of cooked. We are trading from external now, looking like a external internal here on YM actually. Very nice clear bearish push going through the day. We have a 6 a.m. reversal pressing me down to the downside. With this 6 a.m. reversal, there is a possibility for us to trade back down lower here, as this highs is getting SMT'd and it is getting validated with a very strong push here on YM. So looking like an accumulation manipulation, looking to distribute back down to these lows that's located down there. Daily profile is definitely showing me that this is a manipulation. This is also a CPI candle. Let's see if we manipulate and then start to run up higher, then we can trade higher. But other than that, I honestly think that we're bearish here, as the SMT that did get put in up top is getting validated with the expansion away from it. So now in order to trade down lower, or 930 is very much reversing price with this V-shaped reversal off of this lowest point of the day, where we could go and trade back up to these highs. It's a possibility. Okay, so the V-shape is very fucking distinguished. I'm going to enter here as a pre 10 a.m. closure opening price, because the 15 has already closed. Actually, I just got stopped out doing that. I'm going to wait till 10 a.m. just for a 10 a.m. open, low, high close. Waiting to see here. Okay, so now we can take notice that we are actually extremely bearish here. So extremely bearish. There is an SMT at these lows now. Now my study is going to be, what does the SMT at the low do? Does it reverse? It's not reversing. So I can trade a new 15-minute model, and I would be able to trade down lower. I'm going to wait for a 15-minute swing formation to go and show its face here. So here's a 15-minute swing on YM, as YM is showing me that it possibly wants to go lower. Do we have a lower time frame V-shape reversal? I wouldn't count that as a V-shape, so I'm going to wait for 15 more minutes, see if we can get a new 15-minute swing here. So this would be your 15-minute C3. With this 15-minute C3, we actually do have an SMT like this. And now we can trade NQ as that lagging asset to go and break the SMT that YM is really failing to fucking manipulate off of, right? So with YM really failing to manipulate this, we can trade NQ as that lagging asset with that lower time frame V-shape reversal, SMT C2, trading that 15-minute C3, and we do have the CISD that's already in full effect with very full candle closures. YM is failing to manipulate. We can trade NQ as that lagging asset to go and meet up with where YM is. See if we get it. Not the best reaction. Yeah, not the best reaction. I'm going to exit early just because we really wouldn't want to see this reaction here. Now it just becomes ass. I'm going to exit early at half an hour loss, as we are going to get stopped out here. Right, not the best reaction. You want to see it blast through this low, and once you see YM start to reverse here, that's now it's your idea is getting thrown out the window. We are already starting to disrespect 50% and start to accumulate here. You want to see it just rip through these lows, but it didn't, so our idea got invalidated and we got stopped out for minus half an hour there. That's cool. That's cool though. I'm down for that one. Great exit here. Cool. So taking a look here, daily C3 looking like it actually did close as a daily C4. External, internal, daily C2 pressing me down. I'm looking for a daily C3 back downwards to these lows. YM is fucked, dude. YM is genuinely fucked. So with that being said, I'm trying to trade down somewhere, looking like a London high a day, and our job is to trade down to that previous day's low, which is going to be considered this CPI type low that's located there. With the CPI low that's located here, I want to trade down low to it, looking like a 6 a.m. push off of the current high day as well. So there is reasoning for YM to go lower, going from external, internal. We have this low as a clear draw on liquidity. We have these lows as your next draw on liquidity. We have a 6 a.m. obvious internal, external, respecting this gap here. I don't know if that's a high a day that is getting formed here with a manipulation. It is a higher day getting form of manipulation, looking like that delay protraction type profile, leaving an SMT within it, within that gap like that. And now we can take notice the asset setting the manipulation is reversing price, which is very important. There is a low that did get manipulated out to the left of us. With that low here, it is failing to manipulate. So with that failure to manipulate here on YM, what does that mean? Lower prices. It does have that different phase does present itself already, and we are trading away from this 15-minute swing formation, which now we can go down lower. Press that first 3 minutes here. We do tap us into this relevant level. Now with that relevant level getting tapped into, I would wait for a new 15-minute swing in order to trade down lower here. So this would be your first 15-minute swing, and I would look here on the 3-minute time frame. We do not have a V-shaped reversal, so I would zoom back out to look for a new 15-minute swing to look for that V-shaped reversal. Here you can take notice that YM or NQ does go and break the SMT that is located off of those highs, and I'll be waiting for I have to wait for the 15-minute closure anyway. So now I'm taking a look at it as this is your actual V-shaped reversal here with strong displacement. We do tap into a relevant level, however, so I'm not entering yet, and I'm just going to wait for that 10 a.m. closure because it happens in 3 more minutes. So with that 3 minutes here, I'm going to look for a 10 a.m. ICISD to open high-low close in order for me to get on side with this. So here's your 10 a.m. ICISD, open high, sets a high here. We are impacting a relevant level on NQ. Nonetheless, I am pretty bearish. I am very bearish here on YM as there is an obvious draw on liquidity where YM can go down to these draws here. So let's go and take that 10 a.m. ICISD, trading away from this 15-minute C3 and trading the 15-minute C4 down to the downside as the assets does have that SMT break up top, and we should be able to go and expand lower here. Damn. Fuck. Fucking NQ fucking reacted off of that low. Damn, what the fuck is going on? Fucking losing, bro. How do we trade away from this, bro? This is fucking... What the fuck? That's impossible. What the fuck, man? I don't fucking know, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. 50 to the obvious draw on liquidity, higher day set, SMT break, push downwards. Maybe why? Because NQ tapped into here and then that reversed off of. That's nothing though. Literally fucking nothing. There was no reason that should have went and reversed price here to shoot to the moon, especially with the model that we are currently trading within, external, internal. So there's no fucking reason why we should have went and traded away from these equal lows all the way up back being bullish, only to do what? To create equal highs at the top? Doesn't make fucking sense. Why the fuck would we go all the way up to not even complete it, not even complete the job? There was no reason for that upwards move here. I don't see it. Well, now it just becomes a daily consolidation, and I'm not fucking participating in that anymore. That's insane. That is actually crazy. There was no reason for all of that to happen, right? There's literally no reason for all of that to happen, and now I'm just not going to fucking trade it because there's no reason for all of that to happen. Now it just becomes a very confusing day, whereas you don't know what the fuck is going on because you're trading within this massive range. There's no bias. There's no way you trade away from equal lows like this and then just fucking do a full reversal, right? So that's just impossible. And yeah, like just leave it fucking alone because now you don't want to trade anything in YM is considered ass. We're not trading external to internal. We're just trading one big ass fucking massive fucking consolidation range where it's just a barcode here on the daily time frame where you have no bias on any day of this month. So with this being said, you just let that go. And now you're just going to get stuck right here with no bias. And it's not going to move anymore. Right? So you have no idea what you want out of this market. So with you not knowing what you want out of this market, it's just going to stay literally right here for you. Can you go and fucking trade long here? I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. I don't got the balls to fucking catch this knife. You know what I mean? So nothing there for me. I'm just going to wait until it gets out of this range because I don't fucking know. I really don't know. right? I mean, obviously I wanted to go down to this low, but can you trust something like that? No, I can't. Not after getting fucking stopped out off of what? Equal lows. That's fucking stupid, dude. Realistically speaking, right? So we want to go and study the way that YM goes and reacts to this low. If YM fails to react off this low, we can actually trade NQ down to the same lows, right? So wait for this 15-minute swing to actually close here. Once you get that 15-minute close, now we're trading that lagging asset logic to go and catch up to with where YM is. Unfortunately, we are right up against this low. So with that being said, I'd much rather let this low get impacted and then see if I can get a new 15-minute model away from it and seeing if we can get this gap fill. Because if this gap can get tapped into and then we get a 15-minute C2 away from it, and then we also get a OB creation now. All right, so looking here. Okay, so the gap is actually holding. YM, though, is fucking reversing price off of this. So there is reasoning for us to be bearish now. Looking for a new 15. So, I mean, there's a 15-minute C2 with a V-shaped reversal. Trading to go and break the SMT. SMT up top, reversing to break the SMT that is located down below. Down below. Looking for the hard times. Yeah, let's try it. As that lagging asset logic. Stops goes to break even as soon as you cross the lowest point of the day. Besides, I really wouldn't want to see these highs. If we're actually going to flush, we're going to flush now. And it's a Friday, so let's see if we can. What? Did it not get activated? I don't know, bro. It's saying it's not activated. Either way, whatever. I'm gonna just close it at break even. Computer's not working now. Nonetheless, okay, so it just didn't activate nothing anyway. And then that would be basically it, because now that's 217. This is 218, so our 220. So we missed the low and we would have just got stopped out of break even, which is fine. All right, so let's go and take a look at the statistics and see where we're at. So fucking, I don't know why those trades lost. I would assume that those were really good trades. Not gonna front there. Not a single fucking clue why I was losing so much here. That is so fucking stupid, dude. There's no fucking reason why those trades would have lost. Honestly, in all complete honesty, all right. Why did this go and fade equal lows? Not entirely sure. Right? Fucking 2R, bro. What the fuck is that, dude? It's crazy. Hella losses. I'm just losing now. All I do is lose no matter what. Fuck, dude. It's just fucking crazy. Sorry for my language, but I'm like high key irritated, low key crashing out, just annoyed of the way things are going right now. I gotta just calm down, bro. It's just stupid, dog. Fuck. Whatever. I'm gonna log off though. Take a break. I need a break. I've been sitting here for too long. Yeah, I'm gonna chill out. Other than that, guys, if you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next session. Peace.